Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to some more Transport Fever today on White Valley. And in today's episode, episode number 40, we're restarting again in Crowland because in the last episode we started in Crowlands and I really said I should modify the tram. And I've been flying around doing a few little bits and bobs. One, the planes, which I said I'd do in between this and the last episodes. And it is time now to go ahead and just come back. And I mentioned so much in the last episodes. Again, it's me just sort of refreshing my mind and just sort of getting back into playing of the game. But I did mention so many projects I wanted to do, and then I just sort of left so many projects and didn't come back to them. So I very much want to go ahead and go back and sort of just sort out some of those projects that I mentioned. So as we can see here, there is a lot I need to do in this town, and that's what we're going to start with. So first of all, we're just going to go ahead and basically just do a normal expansion. We're going to go ahead and expand the tram route which is currently in the town to just go ahead and better serve the updated population, I guess you could say, as this town has changed in size quite a bit. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to keep with the one tram route. I think that's the best way to go about it. And then what we'll do is we'll destroy lots of houses in the process like I usually do. And then we can go ahead and I just want to select no for that actually. And then no for that as well. Just so you can sort of see the route that I'm sort of planning out. It's going that way, and then this way we're just going to expand it a bit further. I mean, is it fine there? I suppose it is fine there, but what we'll do is we'll allow it to be expanded down to here, like so. And then what we'll do is we'll undo that. Right, perfect. Right, so I know the route in my head now, which is fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into bus stops. We're going to go ahead and select bus stops, which is not in this menu to be fair. It's in this menu here. Filter by passengers. I do have some new bus stations, but again, I don't really see many times when I'm going to use them, to be honest. Again, we'll see how things go though. So we'll add a new stop there. All these stops will be staying along here. Then we're going to drop down here. These two stops here are now going to become redundant essentially. So a new stop will go in there. A new stop can go in over there. Then again another one up here. Another one along here. I realise a lot of this needs to regenerate now, but it will be fine. Another stop there and probably another stop there. And that is that sorted. This is just a very quick correction, if you will. So let's go ahead and reopen this up and let's change this up. We're going to probably need to add in some new trams as well. So from the 6th stop, we're now going to have a 7th stop, and then we're going to go back via South Street again. So that's 5, 6, 7, 8, which is fine. So that's that end sorted. Then we can get rid of 11 and 12. Then what we're going to do after 10 is we're going to come back in here to the green, then Mill Road, then Main Street again. But this time we're going to go ahead and run via Broadway, up via High Street and along North Street. We'll then go around the circle here, which is perfect. Back along Highfield Road, back North Street, back High Street, back Broadway. And that is us returning back to the very start, which is good to see. I like that a lot, and that is that pretty much good to go, to be honest. I think we do need some more trams now. We can also get rid of, just downgrade this road pretty much so not to cause any confusion. So we'll go ahead and do that straight away. Again, I like to clean up after I've gone ahead and done some construction, so let's go ahead and downgrade this road, which is already some high density on, which is good to see. Hopefully that won't deplete, and I'm pretty sure it won't anyway. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the new tram route in town, so it better serves the town. Again, yes, surely it could be better, but I'm quite happy with what that does now, and as we can see, we're already getting some increased demand. So what we're going to do is filter here by the TR in Crowland, which again, the tram size, I'm quite happy with the tram size, but obviously the frequency of tram now is going to be much different, so we're going to need to go ahead and combat that. So we're going to add in 1, 2, 3, 4 extra trams, double the fleet here in Crowlands, And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that is us done the job that I came to do. So, expecting to see the trams getting used a lot more in this town now. I'm quite excited about it. Train station gets used a fair amount, which I like to see. There's a lot of people wanting to go to Chorley, which, I mean, I can understand. It seems like quite a nice place, and as we can see, the train is going to fill up, and there's still going to be people waiting, so maybe that's a capacity issue on the line. Again, it looks like Chorley's having some capacity issues of its own. I mean, it's spread across all lines evenly. There's no extreme delays here, which is a good thing. That's positive to note. Chorley to Telscombe, interestingly, this is one of the newer lines which you've got going up via Dedham and via Somerton. This line seems to be doing extremely well, where it's at the stage where it probably needs an upgrade. So if we jump in here, this is T Chorley. So if we scroll back up, autosaves, I mean, they are my saviour, don't get me wrong, because the game does crash probably every few episodes, maybe every 3 to 4 episodes, usually with mods that I've not removed which aren't working anymore. There's one of the new British Airways planes going into probably Telscombe, I assume. But it does choose the worst time autosaves to come in and have an effect. Okay, so this is it here. So we've got a lot of trains here. How are they performing? So that one's nearly full, as is that, as is that. Yeah, I think we could just do with a slight capacity upgrade. Maybe not all the way up to Stadler Flirts at 225, but I think 144 should I say, sorry, it's no longer fit for purpose. So let's go for multi-units. We're going to filter by electrical here, and we're going to see what we can get. So this is what we currently have, just in a different colour. But we can see what else we can go for here. So what about something like this? Again, we've got quite a few of these on the go right now. That's a bit too much for my liking. I think, to be honest, the RE450 long would be perfect. It's not too big, not too small, and it's also got a decent, I mean, 81 miles per hour isn't a bad top speed, so we'll go ahead and do that. We'll replace now. 110 million is quite a bit of money, but again, we have plenty of that. So we're going to see these trains now upgrading, and then hopefully that should do a lot of good for both Somerton and for Dedham as well. I am still getting used to the town names again, so it is just, it's weird playing this again, it really is indeed. Alright, that wasn't what I quite wanted to do, so we're going to have to go ahead and sort this out ASAP. I'm guessing the tracks, oh, what have I done? Additional length, plus 200s. Yeah, so that's what it is. I just wanted to go ahead and add a second street connection. Right, that's the problem solved. Yep, it should be now. I just wanted to add in a second street connection. I thought everything would stay the same, but obviously not. Because it looks like we're now building around this side of the train station, which is nice to see. So we'll allow for that there, and then we can build this new road here. And into there, like so. Right, is this still not sorted itself out? It's not, has it? So after Somerton and Dedham, that's where the connection is struggling. So on this side, there is the obvious connection there, which is fine. So it's not going to be further up there. It's going to be to do with the station, which that's fine. So it's probably the platforming is the actual issue, and it is. So I think we need to move you to Terminal 2. Nope. 6 needs to go to 1 and 2 needs to go to 2. Right, there we go, that is that sorted. Going to cause slight delays, so again it's going to be difficult to see the progress of that and see if it's much more successful. But we'll just have to go with it. Right, okay, so in the last episode I said I wanted to go ahead and work on some... Whoa, that's mass overcrowding. We need to deal with this. That line needs split up is what that line needs, so we'll actually deal with that later, because I want to do some more Crossrail, as I said. Now, we know the perfect city for this. It is Hampstead, and I do want to try it out with trams, actually. It's going to be a lot more difficult to build with trams, because trams tend to go on roads. I mean, I don't know if we can do it with trams or not, actually. I'm kind of unsure. But we'll give it a go nonetheless. We would have to have, like, underground roads, wouldn't we? Yeah, this is going to be incredibly difficult. I don't necessarily know if we can do it. Huh. Haha. Small street. What do I want here? I think we could go for small country roads. Then we could go for tram type electric. Bus lane, yeah. So we're drawing like that essentially. So it pretty much is just tram lines, which is fine, but we're going to do this underground. So what we need to start off with is a depot, for example, up here, well out the way. Probably not up a hill, mind you. Out like here. Then what we want to do is want to lower this down into a tunnel like so. Again though, we need to build stations, and that's not going to work, is it? Because you need tram stations, and that just wouldn't work at all. So, it has to be trains. Glad we've come to the bottom of that. I didn't really think it through, to be honest. But what we'll go ahead and do is we'll go ahead and see what we can do with this. So, starting off, we're probably going to have a stop up here in the suburbs. I think that is a good idea to have. What we'll do is we'll probably do it along this road here, a road which is kind of meaningless and doesn't get a lot of traffic right now. But again, the purpose of this is to go ahead and try and populate this up a lot more. So we'll build that in, say, there. Depth we'll go with is 20. The fortunate thing is Hampstead is quite a flat town, hence why it's grown so well. Hetton is not, it's on a hill going down into the bay, so it does have its much more logistical nightmares with its building. Let's go ahead and go for no and no, and let's go ahead and again just upgrade a lot of these streets surrounding here. So if we jump in here and upgrade, start to go ahead and upgrade a lot of this. Again, this will hopefully go ahead and help in the future with more upgrades and building capacity as well. That would be nice to see. And then here we've got some nice wider roads as well, but we're quite close to the tram over here as well, which is relatable. Okay, so the next station that we're going to go for is probably one roundabout here. I think we can get a nice station in here, so let's go ahead and delete this road here. And let's go ahead and get another station in. Probably at this end here would be better. So let's go ahead and stick you in there, and let's again go ahead and get another nice road which connects into there like that. So those two, there can be a slight bend. Then we need another one. I want one like really central, like right over here in between maybe the bus and the train station. Or we can probably have it on this road here actually. I think that would be a good idea to have. So let's go for something like this in here like so. That's perfect actually. Run you into that. I mean, that junction there is way too overcrowded as it is. So we'll leave that to go into there, which is fine. And then we'll need to have one over this part of town as well. I mean, this part of town is, it's not a separate town, but you know, it's got its own tram line, for example. It's doing incredibly well. Or we could have it sort of wrap around and come back over to this bottom corner of town over here, possibly. Again, I don't think I want to go for that. This is actually only going to be a few stops. So this is only going to be a 4-stop line, I think. We'll maybe have a stop. I'm unsure where we're going to go from here actually. I would like to probably build a stop on this road here, though this is quite a busy road. Nah, you know, we can add in a stop here quite easily. Let's do that, So let's go ahead and let's take this out here. Let's go for our new station, which is going to have, I'll need to have high-speed tracks to be fair. We'll need to go back and upgrade that. Then we're going to go for tram type electric. Let's go for this connection in here like so. And then let's go for yes and yes from there. Run that from there into there like so. And perfect, right, okay. And then finally we can go for maybe another stop actually. We can get another stop in. Maybe we'll have another stop up here. I think that'd be a good idea to end up here. Yeah, that'd be perfect. Right, let's do that. So let's go ahead and... Didn't want to destroy that whole block, but we've done it now. Let's go ahead and build that in there like that. And then again, let's go ahead and build that up to there. This time can be no and no though. Select that as a yes. Then let's go ahead and just downgrade that, which is perfect. And there we go. That is all our stops now ready to go. So how easy is this going to be? It's actually been surprisingly quite easy to do. If people don't understand what I'm relating to, back in my Connecting Up Scotland series, there was great difficulty. One, the landscape on that map was not flat in the slightest, so that made things difficult. But two, you also had the issue with you just snap onto roads or other objects so much more, to the stage where you couldn't even build underground. It was incredibly awful. And a lot of towns' main train stations, just because the way they grew, and again just due to the lack of flat land, a lot of large cities' main train stations were underground. I remember like Peterhead, Aberdeen, they were all underground, for example, just because they were so close together as well. It meant that any changes I wanted to make or any new lines I wanted to build, it was just incredibly difficult to do. So this is the Crossrail which we've currently got for Hampstead. Again, we can quite easily go ahead and add in branch lines, for example. That would be quite possibly have a branch line come off from the central section here and come down here. Again, we'll see how this first one goes and see if this is the way to go in the future. So what I think we'll do is, I think we'll have the depot out this end this time. So we'll have this come up. I don't know how successfully this can come up, actually. Again, it doesn't really matter. It's taken a long time to climb here, but I realise as we move out towards the airport we might be climbing up quite a bit here too. Or we could just make it in the middle of nowhere, couldn't we? Yeah, I'm not going to do it at that side. You know what, we're going to actually revert and we're going to come back over here. We're actually going up a hill over there as well though, so that's a little bit different. Jeez, oh, why is this taking so long to climb up? It's also costing me so much money. Yeah, right, perfect. Yeah, right, it's gonna come, can I increase that? I can't even increase that. Tell you what, the depot's gonna be in another town, essentially. This is gonna be closer to Bawtree, this depot, but it is gonna work. The approach is, I shouldn't have made the stations 20 deep. That was a bit premature of me. What we're going to do is we're going to join those two up there, and we're going to have the engine house all the way out here. Which is just how it's going to have to be. So, engine houses, we're just going to go for the traditional one, actually. Again, it does have a facelift, though, with one of the new mod packs that I did bring in. This was before the latest introduction of new mods in episode number 39, though. That was probably around about episode 30 we did that. So again, we're going to go for multiple units. It's a diesel one. What have we got here? Not that I'm going to use this. I mean, that capacity is realistic, something which we could have in the underground at a later stage. Would be quite nice to have. We're not going to go for the rail bus here though. We're going to go for the PA1 again. Let's go ahead and deploy, what, 5 of these? And let's go ahead, and I'm very quickly just going to go ahead and signal up the line. This is something which tends to take a while, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so there we have it. That is me gone ahead and placed all the signals, and I've also gone ahead and now basically built the route, which is perfect. So that is now an official line. The Hampstead, the Hampstead Underground Crossrail. I don't really know what to call it, because it is a bit of both. The purpose of Crossrail in London anyway is to connect up each side of the cities, whereas I guess the underground itself is to connect up neighbourhoods and with the cities. So I'm sort of doing a bit of both. It's probably more like an underground line than Crossrail, to be fair, but it is with trains, whereas the underground uses more metro style sort of trains. They're more like metro cars, you know, whereas the Crossrail's actually using like proper large trains. So it is sort of a hybrid between both. That's why it is, I guess, I'm referring to these projects as both, pretty much. So with that said though, we can go ahead and release these services. It's really weird that the automatic colour that has been chosen for all 3 underground lines have been greens, you know that. And all different actual shades of greens as well. It's quite crazy. But there we go, that's off. It's got a frequency right now of 36 seconds, which I somewhat doubt will be like that forever. But that is launched and that is underway. Okay, so where are we going to go from now? Well, it's a very good question. We have done quite a few things though which I want to check up on. So, in general, the underground systems in Hetton aren't doing too much better, which is a real shame. But it is what it is. I also want to check on the planes, so that's something, because we've gone ahead and upgraded a lot of planes, and I'm not really seeing too much difference, to be honest. Maybe even some more losses than we once were having, which is a real shame. We are going to start to cut out some routes, so I think that's probably the best thing to do, or maybe cut back on some more planes, just because there's just some routes which are just not feasible at all, really, and it is a real shame, but it is what it is. I mean, see, we are getting some alright numbers now all of a sudden on the Hetton route, which is good to see. It's so weird, but that's not profitable right now, so maybe we need to leave it a little bit longer, and I think that is what we'll do. I would like to maybe, for example, move this airport here, because I feel that it doesn't do too well serving both cities. I feel that it does incredibly well. It could do a lot better serving just the one city, for example. But again, it's really difficult. It is really difficult indeed. Okay, anyway, we're going to jump away from this and we're going to check out the train as well. The last episode, we modified this, so it does seem to be carrying more goods, which is nice to see. And the production was at about 400. It's doubled up to about 800. So again, I'm not at all sure how profitable this route is, but it was one of the ones we picked out being extremely negative, losing about 3 million overall, which was not good at all. That was G, and it was... where is it? Goldmine Livestock. So it's actually now losing 5 million. Which is doing worse than ever. I think we only need one train. I think that's the thing. I really think it only needs one train, so that's what we'll probably do. We'll sell one of the trains, because the trains themselves have so much capacity, in that we only need one on this route. As we can see, there's a lot more food to be distributed though, so would it be worth keeping? Possibly, while we go ahead and add more trucks in here right now. I think that's what we should do. So, and I think it's helped as well in Goldmine here that we added a second food processing plant, or not a second food processing plant, a second drop-off place. We've also got one over here now, which is good to see as well. We've only got 3 trucks running that, so I think it's time to go ahead and get some more road vehicles on the go there. Where is the nearest road depot though? I'm pretty sure there should be one. Yeah, it's right here under my nose, of course. Right, let's go ahead and add some extra trucks onto some of these routes then, and then hopefully, again, it's just one of these things, it's a whole sort of train, it's a whole sort of system. So let's add in 5 new trucks, so that will take it from 3 to 8. Which again, that might be overkill, but again, we're just spurring on demand here. Then, is there any need? Don't really feel there isn't any other of the routes right now. I feel they are doing well on their capacity side. Production here is extremely high, which is great to see. And as well on the fuel side of things, I think fuel is moving relatively well here. It looks like this train did bring in a large amount there, but to check up and see how we're really doing, we can jump to the other end and see... This train's just left and it is just about full, not too far off it. This train's coming in and it is going to have a fair amount to take as well. Time it gets in, at least have 150 points worth of crude oil to move, which is good, and I'm quite happy about that indeed. This place is doing very well in production, so I cannot complain in the slightest. Right, so with that said, it's really strange. I feel we're at the stage where this map is close to being complete. We do have a lot more work to do, and I want to connect everything up, so that's the next thing we're going to work on, but... Do you want me to take a break after this episode? Leave some comments down in the comment section below, because that's what's currently scheduled in my calendar, though if people don't want a break to occur, then I will not do that at this stage, okay? Right, what we're going to do now is we're going to do some more connecting up of some goods. That's what we're going to do. So I see we've got an oil well here, which I think we're going to connect up over here to this oil refinery. There's not really much more oil in the region. We can also bring over oil from there to go ahead and make plastic actually as well, which could be useful for quite a number of different things actually, bringing wood over here as well. Unfortunately, we've just got, these are just sawmills. I need a raw forest around here, but I don't really think there is one too near. There's the one near Hampstead actually, which we could use. This one here. Because this doesn't really need to be used for this, because we're harvesting so much wood from over here that that's running this place itself. So that's what we could do. Let's work towards that. Quite a large project here, but that's what we're going to do. What I can do is I can move stuff by train over to here, or I can move it by truck. What I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move it by truck, honestly. I mean, there'd just be so many intersecting railway lines here that I don't think it would be worth it. Yeah, I think we're going to start off by moving stuff by truck. I think that's what we're going to do. something which I am happy to build some more roads, you know, especially country roads. And, I mean, it can actually connect up by road, because somehow we don't have a connection from Bawtree over currently to Bangor, so that's something which we can go ahead and create nice and easily. Okay, so let's start off by building this section here. We'll have the truck stop probably just off of this. What we're going to do is we're going to have this come along here like so. Then what's going to happen is this is going to start to go up the way. Then what's going to happen is you're going to jump over the railway line here like so. You're then going to drop back down, which is fine. As we can see, that works out great, and trains will be able to get under that gap, no problem at all. Then, as long as you don't... I mean, we could have a tunnel at this part, actually. But I'm quite happy to just see how it goes like that. And then again, let's have another bridge over here. Now what we can do is we can have this come over here. We can have this start to drop down, in fact. Like so. And then that joins into there like that. And then what we'll do is we'll have like a small, you know, junction. Oh, that is so cool. That is so cool there. That plane must have just taken off from the joint airport here. See, it's really weird because this joint airport works really, really well. Whereas I feel the other one doesn't. It's quite odd. But anyway, what's going to happen here is we're going to have this road continuing on. You're just going to continue on though at ground height, and then you're going to come along and probably just run into... I don't want any more tunnels or bridges though, that's the one thing I don't want. So we'll just have that ride the terrain like that, so that'll run into there, and then we can... I don't think we need to extend it any more than that, to be honest. I think that should do the trick like so. And then hopefully we'll actually start to see some cars use this road as well. That's what I'd love to see. But again, that probably requires some more connections, for example, into the town like that. Which is fine by me. This part of town is extremely busy. It's got, I mean, this town's got really good transport connections. It's maybe just a capacity upgrade this town needs. Have we got 2 tram lines or just the 1 tram line? It's just the 1 tram line, but it does well. But we could easily add in a second, as we can see here. But again, it really just depends on the demand. We've also got the current road which comes in from Hampstead right now. And my word, ladies and gentlemen, 75 people waiting for the Crossrail in Hampstead. Is this a Crossrail profitable? I'm actually so excited if it is. Oh, it's not, but I've got a feeling the way it's going right now, it could be extremely profitable. I think the reason is, I can put the nail on the coffin right now, is that there's no good transport connections up in this part of town, so that's why it's doing so well at this stop. Whereas if we were to have a tram line, there's so much competing transport in Hetton right now. That is why the Crossrail doesn't do as well, because we've got like 3 different, maybe even 4 tram routes in this town of Hetton, whereas you just don't have that in that part of town anyway of Hampstead. That's a new suburb, because there's 4 trams in Hampstead, but, you know, for different reasons they are not doing very well. Whereas the trams have been, like, really worked on really well in this town. So, I mean, the TR3 is not doing very well at all. I'm not really at all sure why that is. We don't need the capacity that is, but this also serves the airport, you know? So, what we can actually do then is we can just go ahead and downgrade these to, like, Mirages. Because we do not need Cobras, for that matter. Cobras cost 70k a year, whereas the Mirages only cost, what, 46? So that's a nice saving we can make there. So let's go ahead and downgrade these, which is easy enough to do. So again, it's just another cost-saving measure as we just try to work towards that long-term aim of trying to make everything positive. But let's go ahead and jump back up here and see our mega project at work. So, we've started the very first part, if you can say so. So let's go ahead and get a nice large truck depot up this end. Jump into trucks, and this is actually road depots. We're wanting goods. Now, we've got high capacity good road station. This is probably what I do want here, so we'll go ahead and stick that in, ideally at this junction here. Then we can connect this last part up by roads like so. Are we in sphere of influence of each other? We are, which is perfect. So as we can see here, we've got Is this just the one station? Yeah. Oh, so this is actually a passenger station as well, which is interesting. I quite like it though, so it is good to go. And then what we'll do is that we'll bring stuff over to here, which is perfect. So again, this one needs to be very, very large indeed. I'm going to go ahead and build this one with multiple platforms, and the reason is because fuel itself might land up going into Hampstead and into Bangor, and then we also might have stuff going up here as well to go ahead and make plastic as well. So I want this one to be high capacity. What we're going to do now, we're going to go ahead and build some trucks. The reason I'm choosing trucks is because we do have some really large trucks now that can carry like 36 fuel per truck. So the time a train moves, starts and stops, it's not going to be too far behind anyway. So this is going to be goods, it's going to be crude oil, and it's going to be between Bawtree and Hampstead, I guess. So we'll just call this Bawtree for now. And that's good to go. And I think we can add in a nice truck depot over here as well. As we can see, it looks like a car is making the journey. Where are you off to? A shop. Though you have just all of a sudden stopped. But you're off to Bangor right now, which is quite exciting. So I'm looking forward to that anyway. Nice to see, you know, people driving in between the towns as well. I know I've obviously got my transport network, but it is nice to still see people, you know, driving around, which is cool. Anyway, we're going to employ one of these road depots. It's a road depot from the 70s, which it very much is. You know, it's a very traditional old one. This looks like this one is from Germany, but it's got lots of old buses, which is quite cool. It's not actually going to have buses coming out of it, but it's still quite cool nonetheless. Okay, so what have we got here? I've got lots of new trucks. It's pretty much the same trucks, so 40 tons we can carry here, but just with different skins. As we've got a lot of British companies here, so we've got Tesco's, Royal Mail, we've got Eddie Stobart, one of the major hauling companies here, Asda, B&M, Argus, a lot of big brands here. What I want to do is I want to carry crude oil, which we can in these trucks, though the capacity is only 20, and I know we can do better than that. We've got a 36. This is probably the best thing we're going to get here, are these semi-trailer tanks. I've also got a cement mixer, that's really cool, that's new as well. And then I don't think we're going to beat 36, to be honest. 36 is pretty amazing, so let's go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to start off with. Going to start off extremely high, going to get that demand going, and this is going on the G, this is going to be crude oil, and this is going to be Bawtree, so that is built there. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and build a connection between probably here and Bangor, I think. We'll serve Bangor first, because it doesn't have any goods right now, and I think that could be extremely useful for the town. So, let's see what we can do here. Let us, first of all, view the map. I don't know why I'm in ports, don't even ask that question right now. But, so it looks like, we could probably put 2 in actually, I think that's what we will do. So what am I wanting here? I think we do want roads, but we want to go into this menu here. Let's have 2 cargo stations right in the centre here. So let's have one here, which is perfect, and then we can have another one probably over here as well. So that serves 2 separate parts of town, and I think that will also make the route more profitable as well, as we've now seen with the food route and gold mine, which we modified in the last episode. So what we're going to have is we're going to have trucks coming back down this road from there. They're going to stop in here and then stop in there as well. And that looks perfect. So this is going to be G, this is going to be fuel. Again, another autosave getting in the way. G fuel, and this is the town of Bawtree, which is perfect. Is this Bawtree? It's Bangor. Of course it's Bangor. Right, I'll sort that off camera, do not worry. So that is good to go. So that means now the supply and demand is there. Again, we just need some trucks to get going on this. Do we have a road depot in this town? I do not believe we do. Again, we've never really had much need to be fair. So let me go ahead and let's get a road depot in here. Let's just go for a normal one. And let's connect that in there. And again, we're going to have a lot of trucks, probably not as many as 12 to start off with though. But let's go ahead and maybe get 6 on the go. And that will take fuel into what is Bangor, but I've wrote down Bawtree. So, what are we looking for here? G, we're looking for fuel. I think I've named this wrong. Should be the town first, which is fine, but those trucks are good to go. So as we can see, we've got all these trucks arriving now. I don't think anything has started at this end yet though, but there is now the whole, I guess, chain line in place, which is good to see. And as long as you guys are using different terminals, I'll get you to use terminal 8 for example, then that is good to go. What is going on over here? Try to ship more items. Let's very quickly address this issue. So, what is the problem? We're not shipping enough items. Not enough stuff is what, leaving here? Or no, not enough stuff is arriving here. Okay, so it's to do with the trains actually. So if we jump up to this end, do we need an extra train on this route? I mean, quite possibly. I'm guessing if there's only, how many? I think there's 2 trains on this route. Vehicles, there's 3 trains on this route. So I can't really make them too much faster. I mean, I could add a 4th in possibly, but maybe we just need some crude oil to come from another place as well, if that's possible. I don't think that is, but I'm not sure. It could come from over here. But that's the oil refinery. That's not actually a crude oil drill. Again, the only ones over here. But again, this is pretty much at max capacity. So I don't really think we can do too much more, to be honest there. If anyone's got any suggestions, then please leave them down in the comment section below. But ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time for this episode, so I hope you have enjoyed it. Please leave a like, rate and subscribe if you are new around here. We did quite a bit this episode actually. We started on a large project which I'm excited about. How are the planes doing? Overall, I'm seeing a lot more green actually, so now things have settled down. There's only a few negative routes. Quite surprised it's one of the Doncaster ones actually, you know that. Based on the amount of passengers we've got as well, so that's into the green, but I'm happy to see lots more green. The Hessen Kendall might have to get axed because now we've even got the new planes and you're still not doing very well. That's just a bad thing. And then the MC to Portishead. You're actually on the Yak still. I decided to leave some, routes on the Yak and see how they're actually doing. So what we might do, in fact, again, you're in the profit there. I think we'll upgrade you to the newer, better planes. You can go under the Canada banner there. I'm not really at all sure what airline that is actually. But anyway, yeah, that can get upgraded, so hopefully that can make a lot more benefit. And there's not much red left in here. Again, this Hetton route might just have to be axed. And this is Doncaster to Portishead. It's not really a route that, to be honest, I see being that profitable, just where Doncaster is anyway. I mean, Portishead, yes, it is all the way up at the top here. But then if we look at Doncaster, all the way down here, it's one end of the map to the other. It's quite one extreme, and the thing is, Doncaster I don't feel is that big to have the demand of people wanting to go up to Portishead. And I don't think Portishead is, Portishead is massive. It's the density that gets Portishead, As you can see here, it's crazily large. So we need to work on trains on this town though. But ladies and gentlemen, you just need to tell me, is it time for a break for this series, or is it time for me to continue? Go ahead and tell me in the comment section below. Finally, we're going to very quickly check here how my underground is doing. I'm seeing lots of green, which is nice. So no, it's not quite profitable, which is disappointing. But I do think there is room here for work. There is room here for work. It's nice to see that there is people waiting at those outer stops, but again, no one's waiting in the inner stops, so I'm intrigued. I'm tempted to go ahead and upgrade these and go ahead and maybe go for something else. And just experiment around. I think that might be a nice idea, so we'll maybe go ahead and do that and see if that yields different results, because it is close to being profitable, but it's not quite there, unfortunately. Anyway, go ahead and like this video, follow me on Twitter, support me on Patreon, and that's all, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for watching. My name is Bigfoot, and I'm out.